Workshop's Basement. Hosted by John Quennell, Danny McDevitt.
Yeah, I kind of hit it this week. Maybe. Who knows? I can't actually hear anything that's going on apart from the stuff I add. Guys, welcome to Grim After Dark, Warhammer 40,000's only late night talk show for some reason. My name is John. I'm here to misinform, hopefully entertain, as we talk about the goings on over the last week in the world of Warhammer. It's a task so massive I cannot do it alone. I refuse to even. So let's meet the team who help me every week. First up, he's got a true bill of friendship, and he's advised me to state that he brings a wealth of tabletop knowledge and experience to the table. It's Danny McDevitt, MD. I don't know what the hell to call you.
Esquire, John.
Esquire. Oh, okay,
well, soon cool. Anyway. Yeah.
Yes, you will be an early 2000s men's magazine.
Perfect. Everything I wanted.
Also joining us tonight, he's the man behind the curtain, the guy who's responsible for everything you see that isn't us talking. Is the master of the digital shorts, Dicky.
Good day.
Now the owner of a luxurious above ground pool.
Yeah, that thing's awesome. Like
and joining us,
hours to fill up.
I'm sorry, did you say 5 hours?
35 hours.
35 hours.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Canada water is socialist. It just takes longer to fill.
It is.
Yeah,
because everyone gets to use it.
That's true. You would have filled it quicker, but the neighbors kept coming and grabbing cups worth.
And Dicky's not going to say no. That's rude as hell.
That
and
is so
he's
rude. I would say, yeah, man.
So.
Yeah, sure, bud.
Yeah,
go ahead, eh?
Can I borrow a cup of water, neighbor? And then joining us today, we have a very special, very loosely Warhammer-related discussion. Right now, you might have seen on the news, there's a massive multiple strikes in Hollywood in the entertainment business. And seeing as, and I'm sure he's going to tell us how very far along all of the Warhammer projects are. They're like almost in the can. We have Nick here to help us with this amazing task. Welcome, Nick.
Hi, Barbie.
You're Knuff. Danny and I, by the way, all of us here actually saw Barbie over the weekend. And if you haven't seen it, please just stop watching us now and go see it. It's quite amazing. Anyway, we have a full slate for you guys tonight as we find out what we've been up to in the last week in our patented State of Play segment. We're going to talk about the state of Hollywood mid-strike. And we're going to play some eBay prices redacted, and we're going to go around the net, and then finally end up in some fan fiction bingo. But let's start even with our new sped up, not overly long State of Play bumper. Dicky, I thought you said sped it up.
It was so much faster than it
so
0.5 seconds.
That was a 15-second bumper before you guys. Like, so now that we've really kind of trimmed it down to a tight, like 5 seconds, it feels a lot better, even though it still feels long.
I was even more lazy with trimming it. I just sped the video up by 150%.
Which means our amazing big band comedy music that we have, it just sounds like chipmunks. And that's an even better thing that I want to explore. But welcome to the part of the show we call State of Play, where we recap the high points and the lows of what we've been up to in the last week. And as always, we want warn our viewers that there are actually going to be discussions of the actual game of Warhammer coming up. Possibly, maybe. Who knows? We are a polite household, and we're going to start with our guest. So, Nick, what have you been up to in the last week related to Warhammer or any other confidential information?
Exactly. Warhammer-wise, so I've played Eldar for quite a long time. So 10th edition, very good so far. I've lost one game against Knights when they went first. It's to the point where I'm going to start playing my Chaos Space Marines. It's been it's like 115 games I'm getting in now, so not the most enjoyable. But I went onto the Grim Discord and I asked the opinion of a while back of how to reshape resin, and all of you told me a heat gun.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to make it. Yeah, it was a lot more wonky before I put the heat gun on it. But yeah, and I expressed the opinion, and I trusted the Grim listeners' opinions the most, and they all told me to shut up.
You know, that looks straight and stiff, without losing its pliability. And I think that's a really important product in any kind of D weapon.
Yeah, it's really important. You want your Ds to shoot true.
I appreciate the really subtle double entendres there. I also appreciate the shilling of the Grim Discord, which you can join by becoming a member of our YouTube channel here. There's a button on the screen somewhere. If you don't know where it is, you can also super chat us, and I'll tell you where it is. Yeah, heat gun is fantastic. I've assembled my Fire Raptor. I slowly went insane until I went and bought a heat gun, and I think I sat and assembled that thing over a weekend with a heat gun and then a pot of cold water. So I would heat, bend, throw it in, heat, bend, throw it in. So I think I sold it to Taylor. Taylor, sorry, Queen, that's going to snap on you in an instant because there's so much just taut energy in there. Danny, what you been up to?
I don't know what you just said or understood a single word of that, but okay.
That is why our viewership is so low.
It's true. It's one of many reasons, John. Let's see. So on Saturday, I went to a build and paint a battle force or combat patrol day. But I didn't quite get finished. I built and primed and got basing done on the Eldar combat patrol box. So Wraith Lord, 10 Guardians, 6 jet bikes, and a Farseer. So
I then left my wife at home alone while I went to the store to pick you up, so then we could both go see Barbie together.
We did
without our respective spouses.
Yep.
And I did also I quoted Brie Larson from the latest Fast and the Furious movie when I picked you up as well, which was also very appreciated.
Wait, Brie Larson was in the Fast and the Furious movie?
Yeah, she was Mr. Nobody's daughter.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember now.
When I picked Danny up, I was like, "Hey, I'm here to come get you." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And he was like, "Dom said you wouldn't trust me unless you saw this." And I opened my hand.
It's true.
And I had a prop replica of the terrible necklace that Dominic Toretto wears in the Fast and the Furious movie.
And he's literally
He's so mad about the fact that I told people that he has that necklace.
Maybe he's gone to put a vest on Don Toretto.
He's going to put on the ball cap.
Now
he's ready to go. Yeah, see, there it is.
Boys, I'm ready.
So that's how I showed up to greet him. Was with the gift.
The nice thing is it breaks in the middle too, so like it's easier to kiss because the chain is not long enough for my fat neck, so it works out really well.
It's also not long enough for Vin Diesel's very muscular, brooding neck.
Do you think?
Yeah, definitely not a fat neck on Vin Diesel either.
Do you think you've got a bigger neck than Vin Diesel?
It's true. I probably do.
Yeah.
Downvoting people that know the raw power of family. Yeah, and I put so much raw power of family into that replica necklace that was $9 on Amazon that I didn't actually do any hobbying this week at all. It was perfect. It's wonderful. Yeah, it's great. That's all we got, guys. State of play is short, it's to the point. It's not very helpful, much like everybody's hobby progress segments. So I guess let's move on to the meat and potatoes of the episode. And what I want to call 40K MZ. I didn't have a big cup though, so I couldn't keep the joke going. I know this is a very 2006, 2007 joke, but still, yeah. So Nick, you were here. We were coming from a place the last year where popularity of Warhammer has exploded in the mainstream. We have Henry Cavill, who's slowly losing all of his franchises, either from the Witcher or from Superman or other things, to focus on this Warhammer thing, which is absolutely 100% official. And then right now we're right in the middle of a slightly small strike that's affecting our entertainment industry.
Yeah, so where would you like me to start with all this? So last time I was on, I think I expressed some skepticism about whether this project would happen, but I think I said it should happen, right?
I think, it should, but I think, like you were saying kind of in the green room before we started, you had a really good kind of metaphor to kind of explain where they're at in the process of this Warhammer TV show.
Yes. So basically they announced the agreement in principle, which is, I've never ever seen a announcement of an agreement in principle in television project. You just, if you would type in agreement in principle in TV, this will probably be the only one you'll find. You just don't do this. Basically, it's because it means essentially nothing, right? It means that you kind of want to do something. And as I was saying to you guys earlier, so earlier this year, MTV approached me to come up with some ideas for some unscripted shows. And in the backstage of LVO streaming, I told you about this. And then we started throwing around ideas. And I said, okay, cool, I'll pitch this. And if anything goes forward, I'll make sure to loop you in. That's the agreement in principle.
Mm-hmm.
That's as much as Warhammer, Amazon, and Cavill have at the moment. You know, I'm sure theirs is writing rather than just throwing around over a few beers while watching Val get stressed. But it's, you know, that's
my favorite Las Vegas hobby.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna miss it. But yeah, I mean, as an aside, the MTV exec did really like our idea, which was called One Hit or Quit, which was about one-hit wonders choosing which person to date. I forget. It was
essentially we ripped off the hit late 90s TV show Singled Out. But replaced the person in the center with the singer of a one-hit wonder from the 90s. And then he had to choose from the people in the audience to date.
And it was, I mean, it was a really solid idea. And I think I've just looked up the response from the MTV exec was, fun idea. We need music to be the through line within the format. If you were to take the one-hit wonder artist out of it, there's really nothing else tying into music. And then they talked some more about other things which I can't go into. But anyway, that was the gist of it, which I quite like. Yeah. But to my point, that our agreement in principle, which still stands, by the way, as we haven't ever.
We got to shop that around. We got to shop that around.
Shop any of our ideas. We had a couple, but yeah, that's where we are with the Warhammer show starring Henry Cavill. It does not exist.
Before this writer's strike and all the things that happened, we're at the point where Cavill and Amazon and someone else sat around the table having a few beers, like, man, it'd be super cool if we could make a Warhammer show. Yeah. And Amazon was like, yeah
absolutely.
And then, okay.
What I would say is that the fact that I've never seen an announcement like that also shows, you know, how big probably they think Warhammer could be, like, or how rabid the fans are, right? Either's good.
That's true.
I think that's a really, you know, as we were saying before, it would do well. It would do really well. Amazon know that. I think that before the strike, you were still looking at it being 4 or 5 years off. We're now, I don't know, like as quick as it could go. They hadn't even announced a writer. I don't know any of that status. And I think as quick as it could go, if they had a writer ready to go, so the showrunner ready to go, writer ready to go, all locked in, which they haven't, but just that it did. Strike is, I don't know, maybe it gets, most likely it's going to be a lot longer than this, but just say it all got wrapped up next week. We're still 3-4 years away from the show, even in the best case scenario. And I think, you know, as part of why people are striking, there's a lot of, I mean, we're at this amazing kind of like tides of both economic, social, technological forces, but it all boils down to everyone's tightening their budgets, not sharing revenue, and people want to get paid fairly for their work, and they didn't feel they are. And Amazon are tightening their belts on a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I really want the Warhammer TV show from Amazon to be similar to the Lord of the Rings TV show through Amazon, where I want Amazon to have the rights to like 5% of the universe. So they can only make a TV show about Warhammer that is like directly related to the Nemesis novel from the Horus Heresy series, because that's the only right that they bought.
That would kind of be amazing. Like, but imagine if it was amazing though, like brilliant, and then
they can't mention anything outside that book.
No.
Like, what's happening? Well, the stuff to the east.
Don't worry about it. Stuff and things.
It would be so good. But yeah, I am, you know, I would love to see this show. I'd be like, watch it day one. And, you know, I think Cavill is, as you said, he needs a new franchise, right? I rewatched Mission Impossible Fallout the other week. He's so good in it. He's so good, and
because he reloads his muscles.
Exactly. I just really liked the bit where when they're dueling the helicopters at the end. He just sits so calmly in the helicopter while this stuff is going on. And I was like, that's didn't appreciate that when I first saw it. Just his dedication to not giving a shit while everything's going crazy.
Truly, the mark of a great star.
Keeping you up, Danny.
What are the primary reasons or issues that led to this strike so far? Because we have writer striking, we have actors striking.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of touched on it a little bit. What are the primary issues that they're pulling forward?
So, again, as I said, there's so many different issues, and I think this is just the first time that a very, very rich corporation, rich people have come up against a dedicated, organized labor union, which has, essentially it's an existential for them. It's not for the studios and networks. But what it comes down to is we had a very, very successful model of TV, which was very profitable for everyone. Someone's described it as almost business communism, because you had your cable package and you paid for all of that, and pretty much it was divided all the way down. So everyone would get money from the studios, the networks, the program makers. And then you'd get what these things are called residuals. It's what basically keeps all the Friends cast going forever. They're going to earn millions every year from their friends. It keeps
Matthew Perry and whatever substance he wants to use.
Then streaming came along, and essentially they bought into the hype that, oh no, this business we had is just to get rid of that, and let's chase essentially, again, all my opinions, this is a tech fantasy, right? It's streaming is, Netflix are profitable, that's it. The other streamers are losing what they've announced, and they haven't even, this is all the stuff they haven't announced. They've lost 18 billion since 2020. And then suddenly that became, you lost all your residuals and you lost all the way of making money in a career. So that's what it boils down to, is the writers and the actors want a fair slice of the pie. They're not asking for loads. And they are and also, again, we can talk about it later, they want to stop the fact that AI is probably going to take all of this business away from them.
You were saying that AI, it's a fantastic tool when used kind of as such. Like, we've used it here like frequently in the show for either the voice cloning we've done with Pete, to kind of writing ridiculous fan fiction. But what kind of things are we seeing in the entertainment world through AI?
Again, this is all anecdotal, and people what they said off the record. Essentially, a lot of actors pretty much make their living through voice work, and now all that voice work is AI now. Like, reading audiobooks, reading this and that. It's all going to be, like I said, like we've got our fake Falcon, right? Imagine putting serious budget behind, well, not even serious budget, some budget behind something like that.
I put $6 a month behind it. And it sounds
exactly.
Imagine
putting $60 a month behind it. But so they're all out of work. A lot of what I do in development, people you can probably say like, oh, we could like give parameters for what we want the show to be, and develop up some stuff, some ideas, things like this. Probably be better, to be honest, but it's one of those things where we're going to see this across, again, without getting onto my political soapbox, we're going to see this across all industries and all levels of life and professional life. It's and that's why I said this is why it's super interesting to see how this shakes out.
Danny, it's come across your future profession. I know it's come across mine, AI. What's your take on the AI overlords coming in and taking all the fun jobs?
I mean, there's always going to be jobs. I'm not super worried about it. People look at automation like an extremely scary thing, but I think that a lot of times it ends up being a refocusing, like a refocusing piece. So like when people get automated out of work, people find other things to do. A lot of times it's not like they just leave the workforce. So I'm honestly not that worried about it. Maybe when the bar can or maybe when the AI can pass the bar, Like that'll be something. Or when like it can write like motions and stuff like that without it just getting thrown out of court because it makes up cases and shit. So
what you're saying in more of a Warhammer perspective is you could say that GW has automated the process of winning in
I'm
Warhammer.
sorry, are we
10th
talking about
edition.
Films, Games Workshop, or AI? Which
Yes,
of those
all of
things
it.
are we talking
All
about?
of it.
All of it.
All at once.
All of it. But
Sorry.
what GW has done is they've automated the process of winning in 10th edition Warhammer through the AI use of Eldari. Where if you use the first letter and the last letter of their name, does shorten to AI, therefore connecting my 2 points.
I like it. I would
Give me a close up on Danny right now. He is not amused.
I don't like it.
It's a
I would
terrible
say
fucking
though,
joke.
one of the, I mean, look, the actors, it really is important to them because obviously they don't want to be, their likeness just taken forever and then used however. But I would also say another big reason for the strikes, and again, I am very much on the strikers' side here, so bear that in mind. I would say that for people like myself, and yourself, anyone who has, a creative ambitions, at the end of the day, our end product is shows, TV, this weekly show, right? And the studios and the networks used to be that way, and now, unfortunately, their end product in their head is their share price. And there is just no there's no how do you kind of conflate the two? I do, like I mentioned to you earlier, Danny, there was a quote from an unnamed studio exec, and this is why he tries to kind of justify this. And he says, we are publicly traded companies. Our primary obligation is to our shareholders and investors. In fact, we're legally obligated to make decisions that are in the best interest of those parties. Yep. So if there is a hole in the contract that can be exploited to our benefit, it will likely happen. Not because any of us are evil, but because that is the nature of contract law.
Yeah, I mean, with corporate law, like as agents of that particular organization, their duty is they have a fiduciary duty to their shareholders and to the company, and not to the people that work there. So, like, that's one thing you always have to remember about anything corporate, really, I would say.
Sure. I guess my rebuttal to that is, even if it's killing the entire industry.
I'm not saying whether it's good or bad. Like, it was a values judgment. I, of course, don't agree with that. I think that's really bad for the industry.
Can you give me a legally definitive judgment, please, Dan?
No, I won't. You can't make me.
You told me it was okay to run someone over the other day.
Well, that depends.
Quality. I have two things to say to your rebuttal, Danny. One, you said duty like a whole bunch, and I found that incredibly amusing.
Yeah.
And two,
thank you.
I mean, I can bring this round though to GW because you're seeing it a lot with GWs, removing the writers' names from all the rules. It's now the Warhammer Design Studio rather than rules writers. They, in a lot of ways, act more towards their shareholders than perhaps the players and the whoever else, the creators involved in that. So it's, you can see a lot of the same issues are present in, wargaming as in the entertainment industry. One and the same, I might even argue.
Do you feel, Nick, that that's because Games Workshop is trying to move in this direction, or do you feel like it's because numerous former writers of Games Workshop games have made their living based on their name recognition from Games Workshop, like Thomas Piernan, like Andy Chambers, like Gav Thorpe, like these guys have name recognition because they worked at Games
and
Workshop.
even beyond the writers, you have.
Do you think they're trying to talk like talent hemorrhaging?
Yeah, and like beyond the writers as well, you had Duncan Rhodes, you have Louise Sugden, you have even Rob Symes that went out through there.
Oh, I wouldn't count him as a GW employee.
Who
anymore?
Well,
I would say, I think it is in their long-term benefits to celebrate all this talent. Like, you should be being like, this is amazing. It's like, university alumni, right? You should be like, look at, we are the talent house. Come here, and and maybe I just don't see the understanding, and I do agree with Rob Symes on this, where you should credit your artists.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons, again, which I am, again, working in unscripted and development. We basically don't get shit, it's a bit like, and that's what I'm really hoping the writers succeed in this, because then they, I essentially work in a gig economy where I get hired and paid and then told to fuck off, right? And then, and it's a bit like, you should benefit from the success of your work. And we were saying earlier, so I developed a show for a streamer. It wasn't a massive hit, but it was successful enough. It's on there. So you can maybe hear my dog going crazy upstairs. But and he's very excited about the show. I'm not expecting to make multi-millions off this show, but all I got was like a couple of $1,000, and then it was on my way, and my name's not on it, and I don't see any piece of that success. I mean, I shouldn't be, I shouldn't be worrying about my savings on a monthly basis. I should be like, but I remember that cool show I spent ages working on. That's nice. It paid for the roof repair or whatever.
True. Wonderful. Well, Hollywood sucks.
It does, yes. But it's brilliant. And this is the thing where everyone gets so up in arms about it, because it's at the end of the day, we're all storytellers, right? Everyone who sits, stands, looks at each other across a 40K table, you're telling a story, whether it's the story of the game, the story of the lore, we're telling stories here. And that's why it matters so much. And that's why people should really care and really be on the side of the writers and the actors.
Oh, yeah.
What I want to jump into real quick before we jump into our game here, I want to focus on something. Obviously, GW breaks all of their big news on Mondays after I write the show on a Sunday. But today, GW announced that several Space Marine kits were being put out to pasture. The Land Speeder was being put behind the barn like Old Yeller. The Space Marine Scouts were going away. Guys, what's your take? I have a very, I would say, not troubling take, but I have a very strong take on this. What are your guys' thoughts on the sheer depth of Space Marine models going away?
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, they could use less units, to be honest. Like, they're really old, and it would be cool to see maybe some new scouts, or just make everything Primaris. That would also be fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They had a good run. I get it, and I get, there's no, from like decrying GW, I'm now actually gonna defend them. Is there's no way they could win this, apart from, I guess, go back in time, not call Primaris, and just say they're just Marines now.
Yeah, which now that you've said that, the one intern who has to watch the show at GW is like, damn it, we should have done that.
We invented a time machine.
But I will say my opinion on this, there's a lot of rage, a lot of people saying my army's invalidated, all this other stuff. In GW's defense, and call me a pandering shill all you want, they haven't actually produced a new regular Space Marine non-Primaris kit in about 8 years. Because I was talking to Pete about it, the Falcon, about this, where I think the last kit that was released that was a baby Marine was the Assault Marines.
Right.
And for that kit, I remember it because if you are a long follower of Danny and I in our audio adventures, we talked about the Assault Intercessor in Mob Rules number 3, or the Assault Marine, and that's how old that kit is. So yeah, it's coming. You guys knew it was coming.
What about Terminators, John?
They were embiggened. They're primary. The fluff says they can be either.
Right.
Well, yeah, but if they're either, then they're both firstborn and Primaris. So
this isn't like a Pavlov's box or a style, or not Pavlov's box. This isn't like a. It's both a Primaris, not a Primaris, and that's why I love that Terminator kit so much. No matter, and again, guys, we put out a short because we made fun of someone who put a picture of the Terminator skeleton up. Based on the 300 people have commented so far, We didn't draw the skeleton. We're making fun of it. Please stop commenting that we don't know anatomy. We literally had nothing to do with that.
It's important that you know that we don't know anatomy either.
We also didn't draw it, but yes.
Yeah, we had nothing to do with that. But it's our most responded to, most watched short. And it's the one I think we put the least effort in. And we're being,
That's, you never know when you're going to get a hit. But just an aside, I would like to agree with Crypt Shadow. You are a shill ever since you got onto the paint page.
And that was a show long before that.
Yeah.
Long before that. You know how much money you have to pay GW to not have like a painted rim on their page?
A lot.
Oh, perfect. All right. Well, we're going to move away from that there, away from the baby Marines, and back to an old favorite. I don't know, Dicky, maybe next week you can do like a Whose Grunt Is It Anyway, but now it's time for an old friend.
I cried laughing at that. The best comment is like they all sound like Joe from War Games Live sitting down.
Funny story about that.
Time for Prices Redacted. Yeah, I get a fancy bumper now too. How'd you like that? I got me a CapCut subscription.
That was nice.
It's fancy. Wow. Anyway, prepare to be demonetized, stream, as we use this very real and official music that we have. As many of you know, I spend a lot of my time. I'm sorry, what?
It's too many seconds. Turn it off.
Well, you got to talk over it. That's the key. Just talk over it.
Just talk over it. It's fine.
You know, John, because I won all of the proceeds for monetization this month, you're doing this on purpose. I know that you are.
It's not the whole month. It was the week that you won. And in that week, it was 37 cents.
Good job, buddy.
Maybe we should strike two.
You know what? Do I have to like go back, find the stream and like say where you said that? Like, because I'll do it. I've got all the time in the world.
I will simply make all of the streams from last month private. Remember the YouTube log on. I dare you.
Good thing I also have admin access.
Damn it. Anyway, we're going.
Now you don't.
Well, we're at least going for a special themed edition of eBay Prices Redacted. As you guys know, I trawl the internet for just the worst possible things I can find. And I found a whole bunch of articles this week about the worst models that Games Workshop has ever produced. And that is going to be our kind of our guiding light today, is we're going to look at what, and I will say, Spiky Bits as is the worst models ever produced by Games Workshop. We're going to talk about those models a little bit. And then I found them sold on eBay. And then we're going to see if we can guess how much those terrible models were sold for. Danny, Nick, before we begin, do you guys want to make any guesses about which 5 models I chose for this?
The orangutan. What was it called?
Oh, the
librarian.
The Chikero weaponsmith.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I will say, just to please Danny, 3 of these are from Warhammer Fantasy.
Oh, I'm out of here then.
Okay. I have no idea what you're talking about because John's taste in miniatures is terrible. So
this is a subjective worst, not objective worst.
Yeah.
No.
Plus, this is also got these from Spiky Bits, so that just makes it like.
I got the idea. Actually, I'm gonna have to move over the microphones here a second. There we go. I got the idea for the bit from Reddit from this slide here, where the guy posted this miniatures and said, "What is the worst modern 40K model to you?" Which is next slide, Dicky. Oh. Love you, buddy. Thank you. And he posted this librarian, who looks like he's just been kicked in the balls. To be fair,
does he?
He kind of. I don't know. He looks like he's
or he looks like the guy from the IT crowd who played the boss in the later seasons.
He's yelling because he's about to incinerate you in psychic fire.
Oh yeah.
So not a bad model is what you guys are saying?
Fine.
I think he's fine.
Yeah, I like him.
Well, perfect. Well, my personal choice of terrible model was this guy here. I didn't find him on eBay.
Yes. Yeah.
But Danny, for the benefit of the audio listener,
which is
what
me.
are we looking at here? Yeah.
John, we're looking at Nork Dead Dog. First of all, I'd like to point out, dude's packing.
Shit, yeah.
It is.
Man. It's
The famous Ogren bodyguard. It looks like they've just.
Wait, I think
like,
I'm in Dicky's computer for this. Let's find out if he's packing. Oh, I am.
Oh,
embiggen.
man. They gave him
enhance.
too much power.
You see, they highlighted the tip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the tip.
Just the
Nice.
tip.
I
Anyway,
like
he's
Uh,
covered
Yes.
in like just little shitty pieces of green stuff that they've made into armor. I think it's
Yeah.
supposed to be like tank tracks. But yeah, his head looks terrible, and he's got a hat on his shoulder. I think that's from the commissar that died, based on his story. I don't know. He's a terrible model. He's
well, why
so
is he
old.
looking up? Why is he like? What is he looking at?
He's looking at you, the player. He's like, "Why did you make me?"
Why am I here?
He looks a little bit like Eugene Levy.
Yeah, he does.
Oh yeah, kind
Yeah,
of. Yeah. Okay, I'll go with
there.
that.
Beautiful.
It's the short hair and the beetle brow. Yeah, you got it.
Little Ogren fist there. I forgot how terrible this model was, but he is a really bad one. My favorite is the big lip and the two giant teeth.
Yeah.
For no reason at all, because I don't think any of the other Ogrens had teeth like that. But it's a beautiful guy.
Yeah.
The ogres in fantasy did kind of.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah,
speaking,
look at Golfags.
I'm not googling that in this computer right now.
Excuse me.
The song's not going to demonetize us. It's going to be Danny's hate speech. No, okay.
What's
so
new?
the first one we pulled up here, it's a classic. It's from my old buddy's Wood Elf army. It's Ariel, Mage Queen of Lauren.
I have that model.
Danny, describe this model again for the benefit of Nick, who usually only listens.
Yeah, sorry. Thanks, Nick. So what we have here is we have Ariel. She's kind of like a fairy queen of Wood Elves. She's actually a fairly large model. She's on a 50mm square base. Her large pewter butterfly wings, which I mean, me just saying that tells you how poor the like the sculpting is on those. They're thicker than a Snicker on those wings. And she's got like really big early 90s hair, and her staff, which looks like a rock that a stick has grown over, that's sharp. Yeah. One of the most powerful beings in Warhammer Fantasy, by the way, guys.
True.
So
True.
keep that in mind.
Nick, what are you seeing here? Again, you said you're not super into the Warhammer Fantasy. I don't know how familiar you are with Ariel.
Yeah, she's a big moth.
Big moth. I do like, now that you pointed it out, Danny, that her hair is actually the shape like a butterfly as well.
Yep.
Will you be able to play her in the old world?
I'm going to. I don't
Yes.
care if she has rules or not. I'm just gonna.
Okay. I like
I'll
it.
stick her in my units if I have to.
So if
Oh,
I
unit.
don't already have an old Warhammer Fantasy army, I'm going to have to get one.
Yeah, true. Nick, other Nick is asking in chat here a very
that Nicky D.
entertainment
Williams?
related question. Was this the Ariel everyone on the internet was upset about earlier this summer?
No, because this one is okay with the white supremacists.
Ooh.
She has
They
the right.
do
skin
love their
tone.
butterflies. And then Crib Shadow, what, John doesn't have your moan on his soundboard below? Buddy, I still have all those moans loaded. Don't you worry.
Oh,
I even have
was that Dicky?
No.
no, well,
Sounds
that would
like
be
it,
telling
doesn't
for next week.
Sounds a
Next
bit
week's competition is going to be 40K stream grown or just Dicky.
Perfect.
But okay, so we have Ariel, Mage Queen of Lauren, a very powerful character in some editions of fantasy, I would assume. Looks like a giant moth, has hair like a moth, has a weird pokey stick with a bit of coal at the end. Nick, how much would you pay for this miniature in US dollars without
Okay.
shipping?
just straight out. How much would I pay, or how much are they asking for?
This was how much it was sold for.
Oh, interesting. $65.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with $50.
$50.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I will say, for that one, Danny is right. It actually sold for $57.
Oh,
We
was
split
that
the
right?
difference, man.
yeah.
One would think, because it was actually a new in box, shrink wrapped.
Shrink wrapped. Wow,
Shrink wrapped.
I like it.
That thing cost at least $20 retail when it came out.
And it did get sent from Hong Kong for the price of $20 shipping.
That seems legit.
Absolutely legit. Danny, there's a couple of terrible models that you hate coming up here. I know this for a fact. As soon as these come on screen, please describe them for the audio listener.
Oh. So these are the original 5th edition fantasy witch. Actually, they might even be 4th edition fantasy witch elves. They have these horrible hooked swords and they're very thick models again, with thick swords and thick hair. Yep. Well, they didn't quite have the molding down like they do now, John. So we don't get the dynamic miniatures. We just get these lumps of shit.
It's fair. Nick, what are you seeing here with these two beautiful witches?
Yeah, witches, Dark Elder witches. Just looks like it's that classic kind of I guess mid-90s design.
Mm-hmm.
I've got such a soft spot for this kind of era design though, because it was when I was getting into Warhammer as a kid. So I can't hate it. A bunch of my Elder and Dark Elder miniatures look as shit as this.
I will say, well, this is just the picture I found of witch elves. This isn't actually the witch elves.
I'm pretty sure these were released the same year Warp Spiders were, Nick. So,
I still run my Unit 5. They were scoring loads of points for me the other day, and someone there was.
Damn, Nick, you're winning with Eldar in 10th edition?
It's crazy.
What?
I've dug deep, really learned. As an aside, I've never ever had such a easy go of it. It's like point and click, and then run the Warp Spiders when they need to get something.
As Anthony Birdsong once said,
they form fit to your muscular body.
Yes.
Guys, when you stream, you're on the internet forever. Please remember that. Danny and I barely do. I do say I remember when I would go into the game store in the mid-90s, I had my little plastic Bretonnian army, and I was a poor child. So the plastic Bretonnian knights, the plastic Bretonnian archers, and then people would come with these dark elf armies. There were all these cool metal models. I'm like, oh, I want to play those. And you look at the wall, and you'd be like, I don't have $8,000.
One Wraith card cost £10, I guess, back in the mid-90s. What's that in probably I don't know, $60 now for one. It's amazing.
But man, they were mostly detailed. But winner goes first in this one here, Danny. So Danny, the Warhammer Dark Elf Witch Elves, 2 of the metal new in blister. How much would that go for?
Okay, hold on. Are they these pictured models, or are they 2 models new in blister?
They are 2 models new in blister, those poses.
Okay. I'm gonna say $20.
Okay.
I'm gonna say $24.75.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Specific. That's really specific.
Did you look this up?
No.
That is, by the way, unfortunately specific, because Danny wins again, as these were $24. When you started saying 24, like, oh dang, he got it right on.
75 cents off. Can't believe it.
75 cents has ruined you. Oh, chat's following along here. Sam Lemon is 0-1 for Ariel. If you guys want to sell an Ariel, apparently Sam will buy one for $120. Crypt Shadow is trying to think those are worth $45. So Russian people, Chinese people, contact those people and you can make.
I've got some if you want them. Just let me know.
Yeah.
Hit me up. I've got an Ariel new in box actually.
Yeah. Let's get out of the old fantasy world and get to some modern miniatures. Let's get to some Games Workshop classic Warhammer 40,000 miniatures.
Oh, the Patriarch.
The Gene Stealer Patriarch. The original Boyo on the chair. Danny, what are we looking at?
Price-wise for Ennis Wilson?
No. What is... It is.
I'm just kidding.
No, you're not. That's why it's good. The terrain's no good.
Oh, do you like how he's got like the O thing? Like he's making you lose the game every time you look at this model, like with his other claw hand.
Oh yeah,
Banana
look right there.
fingers.
Beautiful.
I miss Warhammer being this disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So this guy's gonna go for a pretty penny, I think, John.
A pretty penny.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be $60.
$60.
$60 for this model.
Okay. I will say for this one, it's a buy it now price. He had 2 and he did sell 1. So the picture I have says last item available, but it was sold at this price.
What did you say, Danny?
$60.
Oh, buy it now, 85.
Okay. You feeling about that? How are you feeling? Feeling good? The winner for this one is Danny going to go 3-0.
Probably.
Nick going to pull one back to go 2-1.
Come on, Nick. I'm rooting for you.
Nick pulls it back.
Nice.
$224.99.
Wow.
Dude.
Wow. People just love their old school patriarch.
He may not
They
have
do.
looks, but he's got value.
He comes with a chair. He comes with like a little buddy who like helps him at the side and stuff. It's so much more than just a model.
Yeah, it's an experience, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle.
Could we get one for the show?
Scottish lifestyle.
No, we
Well,
can't
we
get
need-
one. We can't get one for the show, or we haven't had that much monetized yet. Yeah, sorry.
Well, no, Danny spent it all, didn't he?
Yeah, Danny took their 37 cents, and that was it.
Oh, purchased by Innis, Kim coming in. Perfect. Yes. I'm sure that will be. Love you, friend. Let's stay in the 41st millennium, but more in the 1980s region again. As we pull up this next guy, Danny, what is this?
This is an old dreadnought. I believe this is the original Contemptor dreadnought.
It is a looks like a number 8 that you've stapled legs and guns to.
Yep.
Like it's a grimdark Sesame Street character teaching me about counting.
It's terrible. I bet he's on a 50 millimeter square base.
It definitely looks like it. Yeah.
Ooh, is that
So-
round? No, it's square.
might be round.
Terrible.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Nick, do you have any memories of this dreadnought boy here?
Just from the old, the black and white Citadel miniatures, like catalogs you'd get.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
do
was,
miss the catalogs.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those things where surprising amount of the old R range is still current, which is quite good. But it's I used to love going to my store. I grew up in Southampton, in a town in the south coast of England, which for a long time still had its original Yellow Games Workshop store sign rather than Warhammer, which is quite cool.
Nice.
But yeah, I used to love going in there and looking at all this stuff, and obviously the big hats of the Eldar got me, but I could easily be in this weird face dreadnought.
I was really sad when I went back home to my hometown about a month and a half ago, and the GW store had the Warhammer sign.
Yeah, it made me
No, it was
sad
a-
when I saw it. Yeah,
Well, it wasn't the same.
just the old school.
Chat's coming up saying it's a collector's item. The original Dreadnought. This is original Space Marine model. I bet if GW Warhammer community even put up an article tomorrow saying it wasn't usable in 10th, we'd have at least 3 Reddit posts about how that was a shocking choice and how GW hates its customers. But how much would you pay for a Sesame Street character in 40K?
How much would
Starting
I
with Nick is the winner.
I would pay. Well, I wonder what it went for. $97. Why not? Just going big.
97.
Yeah, I think it's more like 30, but I'm going to go 97.
And just to go in here, our friend Danny and his friend Josh saying in chat, if I remember right, that Dreadnought is comparable in size to the new Terminator models.
Yes.
Awesome. Tactical dreadnought armor. So just be aware that actually does match fluff. Nick.
Are you saying this isn't a Dreadnought? This is a Terminator? Like
I think I'm a
first
little
Terminator?
high.
No, not. I don't mean stone. I mean that your price is a little high. I think that what I would go with here. I'm thinking I'm going to go with $30.
That was my gut feeling, but I was like, do you know what? I wanted it to be wild.
You know
So-
what? $42, John. And
Danny, you have
$0.
$42.00. Nick, you have $97. And how many cents?
11.
This is very important.
11.
Okay, perfect. 97.11. And I will say, did Danny kind of make this uncatch-upable, or will we have an exciting game that ends like in a 2-2 and 1 left to decide the entire thing?
Shit, I should have thought more. All right, come on.
Nick, it was $116.13
Look at that.
to own
Thanks
your
a lot,
own,
Dave.
to get your own piece of Warhammer history. As you can see, it's just figure eight with legs.
So this is my thinking on this is that I occasionally sell some items on eBay, and I once sold a model, a Necron special limited edition figure, for like $177 to someone. Yeah, it was crazy. You know, it was like it was when the opening store miniature, and then I felt really bad because then a week after they put it on made to order on the site. I didn't give the money back though. But yeah, and I just thought to myself, that is a lot of money people are willing to pay for this stuff. So
Also, you feel bad. I'm also sitting right now on an original red Gobbo. In blister, like unassembled, unpainted. And that's that goes for like $100-$120 for like an old Gobbo. It's a beautiful boy.
Yeah, I sell off old school striking scorpions whenever they're good. I've got like so many, I just sell them off.
So you've sold them off twice in your lifetime. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, all in 9th edition. Just had loads of the I stockpiled Fighting Blade Exarch and then sold like 4 of them off.
Now, Danny, for this last one here, before we skip to the picture, if I was to tell you, we're going back to the old world. We're going to Warhammer Fantasy, with what many have said is a terrible miniature. Could you guess, for no bonus points, what miniature that would be?
Nagash.
Dicky? Yeah, it's Nagash. The original Nagash. Nick is kind of a new person to the Warhammer Fantasy realm. What are you seeing on screen right now with this beautiful boy?
Like a super glammed up Skeletor.
I see the bad guy from Big Trouble in Little China.
Yes, like they've mashed up and they've gone out on the town.
I agree.
Is that blood all over a sword?
I think that's magical energy.
It's probably blood.
I do like the fact that so again, I played like 2 games of Sigmar. I like the fact that if you took him in your army, it's half your army, like in cost. What a wild game! That's amazing.
He's incredibly powerful.
Sure, but like one model is half your army. It's just like you can have like 4 models total.
Danny,
it's like taking Sigmar in your Sigmar army.
Yeah.
Nick, this is for the game. I do want to say original Nagash. Now I will say this one is cut out of its things.
It's just as is.
It's in parts, but all prime black, and it does come with the original square base. How much are you paying for the Lord of the Undead? And just to make it fair to our guest, even though you've lived in America forever, this price is in Great British pounds. So I will accept your answer in Great British pounds or the approximate US value they show here.
Okay, and it was sold in the UK, right?
Yes.
That changes things because there's more miniatures over there for the market, so it's not so highly sought after. I think £32.53.
Oh,
interesting. John, I've got to go with the old sandpie. I've got to. It's in this kind of instance where you have to really put your guts to the test. Really lay it out on the line, and my bid is $69.
Yes.
So Danny's guessing. Now I have to do math. Danny's guessing in dollars. Nick is guessing in pounds. It's all right. We're gonna make this work. Dicky, I need you to get your.
Are we really close? Because that actually might be pretty close, right? Like,
no, you're absolutely. You're both not close whatsoever. You'll see soon. But the winner at 3-2 with 3 correct and 2 wrong is, Danny, it is £59.99. The approximate US value is 77.06.
Congratulations, Danny.
Thank you. Nick, a well-played match.
Thank you.
You really put yourself out there, and I really appreciate that about you.
I do love that Crib Shadow in chat let us know that $69 is £53.73 in sterling.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, pound's doing a little better.
Well, sadly.
Yeah,
So it's
that's shit. We've got no pounds anymore.
The best part of going home was me just paying for stuff. My parents paying, that's so expensive, and I'm like, it's really not.
My parents came to visit recently, and took them to an American supermarket where every minute was like, that's how much? It's how much with American groceries? And I was like, it's what it is. Yes, that loaf of bread is $7.
Can I tell you, Danny, this is really exciting. A giant package of Tasco brand custard creams, 50 pence. Who'd have believed it? In this economy, certainly not me.
50 pounds for
50 pence.
50 pence.
Oh,
50 pence.
Okay.
Dude, yeah, it's insane.
What is that? Is that even a real currency?
Well, they're trying their best for it not to be, but that's enough for the price is redacted. Next week, hopefully, we'll come back with some more Whose Grunts Is It Anyway? But as right now, let's round everything up by going around the net with this very sped up. Still too slow.
Film Hackers. I like it.
That's exactly where the inspiration came from.
Yeah.
I tripled my RAM, and I made that bumper right there. Beautiful. So welcome to Around the Net, the part of the show where we dive deep into the dank drivel the internet provides. And this week, before we get started, we're going to quickly touch on the latest super major from our friends at frontlinegaming.org, where I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, Danny, but you can find everything you need for your Warhammer needs, from events to mats to terrain to models. Man, if we actually put our promo code up, we'd make some money from that.
I know. You can get all of your Warhammer goodies at a discount every day of the week from Frontline Gaming. So go ahead and check it out. Use a promo code. You don't have to use ours. Use whoever's you want.
Use any.
I don't care. Yeah.
Use Signals.
Wait, hold on. Don't use Seth's. He doesn't.
Okay.
I was about to say absolutely not. That's what my question. Like, how do you feel about Nicky D. Williams emerging as the latest FLG celeb?
I'm so happy with that.
Yeah.
He's great.
Dude, Nicky D is a fantastic human being who's given me the best pre-concert thing to do ever. He posted on his social media that his new thing to do, his new before every concert, 'cause he goes to a bunch of metal concerts, is he gets an ice cream beforehand. And I thought that was just delightful, and so I will be copying that.
I like it.
But we start with the Lone Star Open in the grand state of Texas, beloved by the entire Warhammer community, where Ben Jurek wins the coveted golden ticket, and also causes Team USA to be able to post 37 new posts on Facebook. Danny, you have another question with my pronunciations of names I've never said before.
You said what did you say this person's name was?
Was it Jurek or Jurek?
I think it's Jerk. Jurek.
Jerk.
Not Jurek, but Jurek.
Jurek. I think it's Jurek.
Yeah. But he won, and the beautiful thing we see here, his wonderful Team USA slide. I had a whole bit I wanted to do on these because Team USA and Dicky. I think it's best to talk about these when we have the majority foreigners on the show. But Team USA released all of these catalog style PowerPoints for their things. Danny, can you give us the lowdown on Ben Jerk?
Okay, so Ben Jurek is a player who he's known for his signature Gengar shirts, as pointed out by Seth in a recent social media post. He's a classic orc player, like well known for his ability to play the shit out of orcs. I played him once at an LVO a few years back. He was a great opponent. Really happy to see him make Team USA. An excellent player, a great sportsman, and a really good representative for the United States.
Do you think his experience playing orcs helped him win the Lone Star Open with Eldari?
Yes, Absolutely. Because really, what you're looking at here is a classic training wheel situation, John. Where you take off the training wheels, you put on, you're mounted up on a real bike, and you pilot, you drive. Well, you don't drive a bike, you ride the shit out of it, right? And that's what he did with this Eldar army. It's definitely not due to Wraith Knights being broken or anything like that. It's definitely due to pure skill from Ben. And actually, no, full disclosure, Ben is a great player, like a really good, great player, and an absolute class act. So if you pair up across the table from him, don't be scared. Be happy. You're going to have a great game.
Yeah.
I mean, seconded, like I was streaming the SoCal Open last year when he won it, and he was just a delight, just an absolute delight.
Yeah, amazing. Dicky, as our mole inside the Canadian WTC team, what's your thoughts on this year's America team?
No, they're pretty good.
Moving on. I'm kidding.
I actually can't. Ironically, I can't say. And yeah, Danny, you're totally right. I do hate Ben. Thank you, Danny. I'm sure that's
you missed. Okay, you make fun of my pronunciations. Danny just wrote in chat. Dicky told me he hate Ben.
That's how Dicky talks.
That's how I talk, though. I knew exactly what he was trying to say.
He said, I hate. He said, me hate Ben. And I'm like, whoa, dude, okay, what's wrong? And he said, no, he play real good, better than Dicky. Dicky hate Ben.
Better Dicky, yeah. I have a question, Danny. When you played him, did he wah?
Like, out loud?
Yeah.
To himself.
No.
You do hate that.
No, he didn't actually. Like a real gentleman.
Wow.
I was proud of him.
You know what? I think Ben's coming around. I think maybe I like him.
Yeah. We got a good question from Chatlow from Sam. Are you saying maybe Seth Foster is just getting that initial practice in before unleashing his true potential?
No. So sometimes
there's training wheels, and then there's learning to just stand up on your 2 feet.
You know how some people ride a tricycle for their entire life because that's just how it is.
Yeah,
this is one of those situations.
Just the image of Seth on a tricycle, like a child tricycle.
I cannot.
As someone with a 4-year-old right now who's refusing to leave his tricycle for an actual bike, I'm going to ask that we cut that reference out as well.
just do that. I often forget you're an actual father, John. It always surprises me.
So do my children, especially the oldest ones.
That man had any kind of real responsibility.
Right?
I think many could guess I have children. Few would guess that I stuck around for the responsibility part of it.
The Boris Johnson of 40K.
Oh, it's sad.
Oh, it's the hair. Moving on, though. Fun times are had by over the Lone Star Open. Follow Frontline Gaming for all those socials for the next big event. Val shared this forever ago with me, and I only just got around to it. It says, this is an advert for an army for sale. It's advertised as Golden Demon Army, brackets, not winner, for sale.
Yeah.
Ultramarines Warhammer 40K. Guys, is this the greatest advertisement ever?
I thought they may have been the Golden Demon chapter.
Yeah. No. Golden Demon Army, not winners.
Not winner.
Just
the
caveat, though. I like that.
We should do that. We should try and get this podcast nominated for a bunch of awards, and then we'll just be like, after winning.
So here's what you can do. It's actually surprisingly easy to game the digital Emmys. Like we could probably get this entered into the digital Emmys and have a good shot at getting it nominated.
Oh man, let's do that. That'd be a great bit.
So I think we can I'll speak to you off air about it. But
perfect. Yeah, I love that. Okay, next bit's coming along. What's the worst ways you guys would describe your army if you were selling it?
The worst.
I got it. I got it. Yeah. Do you have one, Nick?
No, go for it, Danny.
Okay. War Machine Army for sale.
Oh.
I just put, I don't know, it's just like just second edition Screamer Killer.
Beautiful. And now this is gonna be the last one here before we move on to the Falcon Fiction. We had a very full, fun show this week. In fact, 2 more. So the next one here we're gonna pull up here is I titled this one "Sexy Man." So pay attention, guys. This was
my attention.
A post I found on Facebook from
That's how I sell my army, actually.
It says,
Sexy
what do men not realize makes them very attractive? And God bless you, Emily. She responded, y'all answers are weak. You should be asking what 40K army they're playing. That tells you their real personality. So starting with you, Danny, pick one of your like 75 armies. But what does your army say about you?
Oh,
well,
so since my favorite army is Eldar, I think that it probably means that I'm lazy and self-absorbed. Oh no,
and it works. No kidding. Nick.
Same, like Eldar, so I guess that means pretentious but ultimately failing.
We're gonna skip past this next one here. We've already handled the updating of the range. No one cares about that stuff here. Going on to the picture of the wonderful post from Warhammer 40,000 on Facebook. The thing I wanted to point out here was the comment somebody made saying Fallen are not in the index, nor in the legends, nor in the proxy list. Danny, are they just garbage to you?
Are we just garbage for you?
I think they're saying, are the Fallen just garbage?
Fallen don't exist anymore. Sorry, Danny answered the question.
Yeah, okay. That's true. Fallen don't exist anymore, John.
No.
They don't do lore anymore, right?
Nope.
That, really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hold on a minute. I think that they still exist. Like, there are Fallen that are not joined with the Lion.
Right,
Yeah.
but I feel in-game, in our simplified, not simple 40K, Chaos Fallen are just Chaos Legionaries.
Yeah, that's true. I believe that is correct, yes.
And Fallen, classical Fallen are now, and guys, hold on to your hats, they're risen. Which was the only thing I didn't really super like about Sons of the Forest, which is a phenomenal book you should definitely read.
Whoa. Look at this hot take by Kim. That's because Fallen were always stupid and existed only to cause problems for Chaos and Dark Angels players.
Do you guys feel, based off of Kim's quote here, did you guys feel the Icecloud Dark Angels, oh, so you're a Chaos player, would have died a long time ago if Fallen weren't an option?
Well, probably, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I don't like those jokes. Just kidding. I hate those jokes. They're
pretty good. We're going to jump in to the first of the listener questions. We're going to go through like 2 or 3 of these, and then I promise we're out. But the first one here.
Keep it going. 8 hours.
Yeah, monetize this. Let's keep going.
Exactly. Charity.
This is for Dicky here. What tier do we need to get for Dicky to be on camera, but in a shadowy room like he's in one of those protected witnesses from 60 Minutes in the 90s?
Or the RA leader. Sorry, Jerry Adams from the Sinn Féin.
Oh, yeah. Got himself a little beard.
Yeah.
It's halfway there. Dicky, what tier do you need to be on?
It would take much.
Well, don't we have we only have 2 tiers for YouTube. I guess the tier that no one sees, so I don't have to put my face on camera, so I can hit the buttons and not worry about what I look like when I hit those buttons. So yeah.
Perfect. Yep. Danny, Bid's asking, how do I get John to stop watching me sleep?
So the key is to change your locks often. That's what I found. Also, if you close your windows at night, it makes it harder for him to break into your house to do that. That's just my personal experience. I can't speak to any, I don't know what your living situation is, but maybe I could suggest some bars on your windows and like a drop bar on your door.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to watch Danny sleep, right, John? I imagine at some point in your life.
I feel I have, not on purpose, but by the fact we've shared hotel rooms.
Yeah,
you've definitely seen me asleep before. I think.
For sure.
It's semantics, right? You've watched you sleep.
Well, next slide. Slide 26. Let's go past that. He has a promising career. Nick, this is one for you here. If you had to compare Grim After Dark to any movie franchise, which would it be? Ignore the second part, because if it's the DCEU, then we're screwed, and Danny has a bunch of people locked up in a cult in his basement.
It is not the DCEU. I would say it would be the Minions franchise.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
That
It's
makes
meant to be wildly popular, but really it's just a niche audience that enjoys it.
Plenty of memes come out of it.
Fair.
Yeah.
I think it's Fast and the Furious, John. And hear
We
me
are
out.
very about family here.
Right.
like the
we're
Olive Garden.
We're all about family. Like
Yeah.
it's not, and we're not Olive Garden, so that's out.
But when you're here, you're family.
That's not true because we've had guests on that I've called a bitch before or stupid, and they sure didn't feel like family.
It is
like
okay,
from
but
Mikey.
isn't the sheer concept of the Fast and the Furious that your enemy's one movie or podcast episode and then family the next? So
Yeah.
by you calling Hellstorm Mikey a bitch one episode, then forgetting about it for a month and a half until we have him on,
For
and
like
then he
a
joins
lot
the
longer.
family.
Yeah.
Get him
Look,
back on.
and I love Mikey.
Yeah, Mikey's great.
But
He's
the
awesome.
other thing we do is nominally we're supposed to be about, Fast and Furious is about street racing, and we're nominally about 40K, but really we're so much more.
Okay.
At
I
the
was just
start, we were
thinking-
really about 40K, but it gets away from it super quick.
After this episode, you're going to have to get Innes on now, aren't you?
The patriarch of
Oh,
stat.
not again.
I miss his little segment he used to do for Mob Rules. That was good.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
It
detailed.
was. He had a good segment actually.
It's
That
really
was very
good.
nice
Advice,
to do
yeah.
that.
Yes,
I found
that's how I
some really
learned
cool
to play.
with Eldar.
Exactly. Easy. Thanks, Innes.
Franchise that Grim After Dark would be, I feel we would be Star Wars, because we're like, we started little, we grew, we kept ourselves independent, all that other stuff, but we would sell out in a second and ruin everything we did for money. So then very similar to the trajectory of Star
But
Wars.
you sold out once to FLG, and then now you're indie again. So
That's true. That's true. I mean, you gotta. Why you gotta point that out? Ruin my joke.
I just want to know who's next to just like sell out to. Like if you
That's
could.
fair. Yeah, who's next? We are an open book, and it won't reduce the quality of the show because there's no quality to begin with.
Oh,
We're gonna win an Emmy.
yeah.
Well, good. That's the new goal. Downvoting people says you'd have to go crazy and off the rails before selling out. And onto that, we're going to move on to our fan fiction bingo. Many of you know I've been using AI voice and AI generated speech or text to figure out fan fiction. After all of the fan fiction I could find with Warhammer on the internet was actually extremely pornographic and would demonetize us within 3 seconds. So I found this bingo card online, which has a whole bunch of different suggestions for the things that can happen or things that can do. Things like last week we found out there was going to be Horus not being the War Master. Abaddon still hates Horus. Sanguinius falls. I said to anyone about Khorne, but chat, AI isn't great. It still made him fall to Khorne because that's the only one that makes sense. And then Blood Angels falling to the Red Thirst. And we got an amazing little minute-long fan fiction out of it. But this week we expanded it even further. And if you go to the next slide here, Dicky, we have a team swap is an added option. Luther kills the lion this week, and we also added in an extra ocean-themed legion. And on top of that, in our Grim Chord, we had a member who had such a great suggestion that we added that into. Our bonus member pick was a legion swears pacifism, which is very on brand with Space Marines. So before we start with this, what's that?
Didn't the word bearers try and do that?
I think until the Emperor murdered them, right?
Yeah.
But this, let's just listen to this beautiful, beautiful piece of fan fiction read by an AI of a random voice I found on the internet. Let's listen to a beautiful AI voice I randomly found on the internet.
Angron is named War Master instead of Horus and masterfully coordinates the traitor legions. Horus broodingly joins his rebellion. Sanguinius and the Blood Angels fall to the Red Thirst, slaughtering loyalists before swearing pacifism. Luther kills the lion after swaying the Dark Angels to chaos. The Oceanic Leviathans also join the traitors. With Angron's strategic leadership, the traitors lay waste to great swathes of the Imperium. Robut Guilliman is named Loyalist War Master, but struggles against Angron's tactics. In a final battle on Terra, Sanguinius is slain defending the Emperor. Though Guilliman kills Angron, the damage is done. The traitors achieve victory and exile Guilliman and the remaining loyalists. Angron reforms the Imperium in chaos image, twisting the imperial truth into worship of the dark gods. The pacifist blood angels retreat to Baal, tending to their guilt over the red thirst atrocities.
Wow. Guys, what are your takes on our moved?
Whose voice was that?
That was just a random, definitely someone who gave permission's voice that read that out.
Good.
Yeah, is that Cavill?
Dude, it's super, man. I loved the theme of that voice there.
Yeah, just perfect.
You know, it's bewitching.
It's bewitching, yes. Bewitchering.
Bewitchering.
I think my favorite part of this is now, and this is probably the problem with AI in general in entertainment, is when I plug in all these prompts and it like spits something out. And the problem is a lot of people don't do second drafts to AI. So I'm like, no, don't do this, do this. It's like, oh, okay. And it does that. So this is about the fourth iteration before I got to something that was comical and good. My favorite thing was that Gulliman couldn't beat Angron's tactical genius.
I mean, it's true.
It's true.
That was a high point. Also, the Gulliman is exiled by a very nice Angron who didn't just murder them where they stood. Danny, where does this story go?
I mean, so Gulliman being banished to the Eye of Terror in the Maelstrom is probably going to have some interesting effects. I wonder if they're allowed to take the Emperor's body. Is the Emperor dead in this? Did that happen?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to add this to
say.
the notes. So we're like, well, I'll ask ChatGPT next week.
Yeah, has he been mentioned, the Emperor, yet?
It hasn't even been mentioned, yeah. Mention the Emperor.
Do you think the Emperor can kill this War Master Angron? I feel like probably.
I don't know, he's a tactical genius.
He's a tactical genius, though.
That's true. That's going to be a problem.
I'd like some humans in it. That'd be nice. Like the remembrances or whatever they're called.
Humans. Oh,
They
journalists.
kill Angron, actually, is what
Yeah.
it is.
Basically.
Journalists.
Boredom. They kill it with boredom. Yeah.
With bad press.
They go to that bit they're always drinking in the first book for ages, and that's all
they
they do.
cancel Angron. Yeah.
Angron gets canceled.
Oh.
Here we go. So I have
It
for next week.
maybe describes certain people in a certain term you shouldn't use, Danny. Maybe that's why I'm going to get cancelled.
So we have right here. So no, you said Danny again. But we have so adding in next week, just a guest suggestions. We're gonna have to mention the Emperor, humans - add journalists, and then I added my own thing here. Add studio executives who feel the budget is too large and the story needs to be scaled back.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect, dude. I'm in love with fan fiction.
How long, if we try to release this for people to get people like to pay it, would GW give us a cease and desist? Do you reckon?
I mean, instead of calling him Angron, just call him like Andy,
Yeah.
Ron.
Just Ron. Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of
Red
like
Ron.
Horace, it'd be like Hank.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
instead of like the 31st millennium, it'll be like
The
And this is all-
40th
here you go.
millennium.
here you go, Nick. It's just an episode of Biker Grove.
You know what bit I was about to do there? I can't even just the classic Ant and Dec scene.
I can't see. That's a reference which will hit exactly 4 people, which is the kind I love the most.
I like it. So going off the chat though, which Primarch would get cancelled first?
That's a great question.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Because the obvious answer would be Fulgrim, but
I'm
I
gonna say
feel
Ross
I
gets
feel
cancelled.
he's cult leadery, so no one would really report him. So it's like an Axiom situation.
Mhm.
And then Horus wouldn't get caught. He doesn't do anything super bad. Magnus.
I think Dorn.
Dorn?
He's a
Dorn.
terrible boss. Yeah. HR would
All right,
be up
so
his
here's
butt.
why. I
Okay.
feel like Dorn has real hard libertarian vibes, and so he would say taxation is theft, and like don't break up my
But he
legion.
wants to build walls.
And they would
And he's got a don't
he
tread on me.
wants to build them. He doesn't want the government to have to pay for them.
Exactly. Yeah.
I really.
No, he does, but he doesn't want to contribute to it.
He wants Horace to pay for those walls, and he's going to make Horace pay for those walls.
Exactly. Yeah, and he hates immigrants. So yeah, I think it's.
That's true.
Dude, come on.
Lots of interesting demonetizing comments in chat, guys. If you are listening to this podcast or watching this after the fact, join us live every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern and follow the degeneracy yourself. Yeah, it's terrible. We're not reading those. We're not. Great job. We're very proud of that. They're very funny, but we're not. If you like the show, you can definitely support us, become a member of the channel. There's very few benefits, but you can join a Discord because everyone has that now, and also get access to the full live show, sans edits, 24/7. Thank you, everyone, joining us here in Grim After Dark, especially you, Nick. Thank you for taking time away to come talk to us again. Pleasure as always.
Thank you, Nick.
It was great.
Thanks, Nick.
Danny?
I look forward to seeing you again in real life at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully sometime soon here. Danny, I hope to see Barbie with you again soon. And chat, if you haven't seen Barbie, go do it. Don't listen to Ben Shapiro. He had to sit on a phone book to watch it.
All right.
You can find all of our socials and ways to support us at grimafterdark.com. We're going to be back next Monday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Val has returned. And actually, before we do, Dicky, skip forward to the next slide because this is very specific. You should be excited for Val because this week on Twitter, he posted this little meme that says, "I don't care about 40K." So if that doesn't excite you for Val's heroic return to the grim dark, and he did use a lot of hashtags. I think he's in his late 30s from that.
Yeah, he rang me on the other weekend, and then the next day sent me a message being like, "Was that a phone call today or yesterday?" So
Doesn't know what day it is.
So tentatively, he should be back next week. Actually, it might just be the boys again, but that's okay. Remember, when your life feels like a never-ending siege, libertarian style, and things can't get any worse, join us here, and remember that there's always Grim After Dark. Now, Dicky, hit the rap song.
It's time to step into the grim darkness where nerds gather talking Warhammer madness. Grim After Dark, the podcast with the hosts John, Danny, and Val, but they're not the most. Claiming to be experts, but it's all a facade. Talking about battles and dice rolls, they're all odd. Trying to sound cool with their Warhammer talk, but I'm here